Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Life of Cam, and today's topic of discussion will be, is graduating from WGU in just 6 months realistic? I have recently seen a ton of YouTube videos and as well as social media posts where I'm seeing people saying that they attended WGU and they got their bachelor's or master's degree in less than 6 months. And as a former student, I would like to provide an honest opinion and perspective on if accomplishing this goal is indeed realistic. WGU has exploded in popularity due to its unique competency-based education model, which allows you to complete courses at your own pace and your schedule while being a lot cheaper than most schools, which has been very appealing to a lot of people, especially older working age adults that are looking to advance their careers. Now, for my opinion on this topic, I will say please keep in mind this is just my personal subjective opinion. Do not take this as facts. I just wanted to provide a unique perspective that I believe has been challenging to find online overall. Now, the first fact that I will put out is that according to WGU, students finish their degree in about 2.5 years on average. I do think this is great because this is half the time of the national average, which you can find on the Bureau of Labor Statistics, saying that it takes people about 5 years on average to finish their college degree. Now, I will say the first thing about my opinion is that I think that the speed at which you finish your degree depends on the field of study. If you're studying a subject that a lot of times may be more quantitative or be coding or computer programming intensive or like very scientific, then I will say those majors are going to tend to be a lot more challenging, and because of that, learning the material will take longer in my opinion. So which means if degrees focus on those things, finishing a degree in just 6 months in many cases is more than likely not going to be as realistic versus if somebody does a degree where I would say it's less quantitative and not as like computer programmer coding intensive. I do think that the major will be more likely or easier to finish faster and sooner. I will also say that it depends on requirements for a degree of study, whereas if it is actually realistic, an example might be, let's say if somebody decided to go to WGU as a nursing major. I don't know too much about the medical field or medical degrees, but I do know that in order to become a nurse, you are required to do clinicals. And from my understanding, clinicals can take 1 to 2 years, which means if somebody is a WGU student pursuing nursing, the idea of finishing in 6 months for that particular degree is for sure unrealistic. Now, for the degrees that I do think that it is possible and even relatively probable to be able to finish in 1 semester are their technology master's programs and business undergraduate degrees. Now, I will say that I did attend a technology-based master's program at WGU, and I did graduate in 6 months or just 1 semester, so I am someone who did do successfully what some people online are talking about that they also did successfully. But the reason I think that technology master's programs can be completed in just 1 semester is due to the fact that unlike the bachelor's degrees, the technology-based masters require few, if any, industry recognized certs for IT. If any of you know about industry recognized certifications for IT, they range in difficulty, but even a lot of the more simple certs will require 2 weeks to just a month of studying for even the most simple of certifications, which means, if it's like an undergraduate bachelor's program, and it requires 6 required certifications to proceed to pass the degree program. That means for the average person, I would say it's probably going to take 6 months, maybe even more, depending on their aptitude for the subject matter, to complete the entire degree program, which would mean it would take them more than 1 semester to finish the degree. But for the technology master's programs, it is a different story where, from my understanding, I think only the cybersecurity program has 1 industry recognized certification that must be obtained to finish the program, while my master's degree, which I did in information technology management, and the data analytics master's degree, in order to complete the program, you just have to finish the coursework and assignments, and WGU just provides you vouchers for the industry recognized certifications that you can use to get those certs if you want, but you do not have to in order to proceed through the program. Also, I would say that these programs are about 10 to 12 classes. Typically, I know my master's program was 10 classes, which means that if someone tried to get their master's degree in the same field of study at another school, the programs in most cases would be about 12 months long, which means there is not as significant of a difference in length to complete it. So because of that, I will say it is more realistic. Now, the reason I say I think undergraduate business degrees can also be completed in 1 semester possibly is due to the fact that they also do not have any required industry recognized certifications in order to complete the program. And also, I will say business degrees are not too math intensive, and they do not have too much with coding or programming, depending on the concentration. Like an example would be their bachelor's in business administration and IT management. It might have some information about coding, but it's not going to be too intensive. And for the math, I would say the most math that you will see is mainly just going to be statistics, accounting ratios, and then functions in Excel. So I will say for most people, they will have the aptitude to be able to learn the material without spending too much time on the degree, which means somebody can go through business degrees faster. But I will say people who can go through business degrees faster are people who are great with writing and research, because my undergraduate degree was a business degree in business administration, and I will say the program is a lot of writing and a lot of research, even though it's not so technical and quantitative. So it depends just on your aptitude for writing and research. Now, for the people that are saying that they finished their tech bachelor's degree in just 6 months or less, are people, I will say, they technically did get their bachelor's degree in 6 months, but not quite exactly, not really. And the reason why I say not really is because essentially what they did is they created a strategy or a game plan where they're enrolled at WGU for that degree in 6 months. But essentially all they're doing is, once they realize that they want to get their degree in a tech field, instead of immediately jumping into a program at WGU, what they do is that prior to enrolling, they find different ways to earn transfer credits. There are different ways that you can go about it. I know I said in a previous video, you can get transfer credits from work experience. You can test out of classes using different testing platforms. And there are also websites like Sophia and study.com where you can sign up and then take online courses through them at your own pace. And also the last option I will say is that you can go on Coursera, and there are certain certificates that you can get on Coursera that will count as transfer credit. Then once they accumulate all those transfer credits, then they transfer to WGU, where they knocked out a significant amount of the course requirements, and then all they have to do is just mainly focus on the primary coursework versus a lot of the general electives that they already knocked out. And I will also say that for some people, they will go and actually even get some of the industry recognized certifications prior to starting the program, since one of the big benefits of the tech degrees are that you can get the certs with it. But depending on someone's job and industry and also available opportunities, there are ways that they can get IT certifications without actually going to WGU first, allowing them to get even more transfer credits. An example may be, let's say you work for a company, and let's say you're already working in tech and you just want a degree to satisfy a requirement to progress in your career. There are companies that will pay for you to get certain industry recognized certifications meeting some of those requirements as well prior, which can trim off several months of time. I do think this is a smart strategy, but technically speaking, people who are doing this are technically spending more than 6 months on their degree, a lot of the times even more than 12 months. The only difference is that they're just technically enrolling in WGU for only 6 months, and they are oftentimes saving money in the long run, and it is a very smart strategy, but it's not quite exactly what you think. Now, that is my overall opinion. I will say just a piece of advice is all that truly matters is that once you do get started on a goal, that you don't stop until you finish. Some people finish faster, some people finish slower, but we all have our path in life and nothing is never a race. Just move at your own pace and just do your best and you will always be okay. All right, now thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Have a great day.